Jodi Arias, the woman accused of killing her boyfriend, is on the stand today, and testimony's been so graphic and so salacious that our show Raising America hasn't even covered it, Kira.
That's right. No,
nasty.
no, it's true. We made a decision not to air it on this show because this is stories through the family's perspective, but we wanted to point out from a family perspective, her younger brother and sister have sure heard all of the salacious testimony. They were there, right there in the courtroom in Arizona with their mom, which leads us to this discussion about the impact of hearing this kind of testimony from your sister. Clinical psychologist Dr. Michelle Gollin has been following this murder trial. She joins us. Dr. Tiff, I'm going to get you to weigh in also. But Dr. Gollin, let's start with you. First of all, the strategy here. Why would you have the siblings in the courtroom listening to this gross sexual testimony from their sister?
Well, the strategy from the defense attorney is basically to humanize her, to show her not as just a cold-blooded killer, but as a sister and a daughter.
But what about the impact on the sister and the brother hearing this stuff? I mean, this doesn't go away. It's your sister.
No, I mean, and I think it's even the larger impact, Kira, not just of the sexual testimony, you know, because also the family of the victim is hearing this as well. It's really about how do crimes and how do these sorts of crimes impact all of the family members, not just the victims' families, but the family members of the perpetrators. You know, we don't pay a lot of attention to what they are going through. They get ostracized and blamed often, and they have a huge amount of guilt and shame. So it's a very complex psychological and emotional situation for both sides of the families.
All right, as I pointed out, we chose not to take some of the testimony because of how graphic it was. But we are going to play you a couple clips here. There was a phone conversation that was played in court for jurors, and I want to warn all of you there at home, it's inappropriate for kids to hear, but it's not as bad as some of the stuff we chose not to air. Let's go ahead and play that and talk with our psychologist.
I'm a giver.
No, I agree, Henry.
But I don't mind receiving while you're doing the giving.
No, I'm glad. And I like how you'll play whatever role you need to play.
I like the play. That's fun.
Pretty low key, but still, Dr. Tiff, I mean, you've got teens listening to this in the courtroom.
Yeah,
related to that woman.
You know, as we look at this trial, one of the things that Jodi doesn't have a lot of is support. There are a lot of people that are really supporting and standing behind Travis, and you know, he is the ultimate victim in this case because he did lose his life. However, Jodi, it would surprise me if her family wasn't there, to be quite honest, because she does need some support, and her family's there and said, you know what, no matter what happened, and I'm sure this isn't the first time they've heard about what they were going to hear on those tapes. So, you know, they're there to support her, and if my sibling was in that type of situation, as hard as it would be for me to hear that, I would want to be there and support him as well.
Would you want your kids in that courtroom, Dr. Gollin?
You know, I think that if I had something happen where my child did a horrendous act like this, I would be there. It would not mean that I would condone what happened.
Or be comfortable with it.
I think, or be comfortable, of course. But again, I think that it's so important. Here we all sit as women, as many of us as mothers, that what do we do if our child does something horrible, or one of our siblings? And I work all the time with clients trying to not internalize their family's shame, trying not to have to be a familial representation of the ugly side of their family.
Point well made, ladies. Thank you so much.